All right, hey everyone. Haven't made a video in a little while, so I wanted to get another couple up for you. And in this video, we're going to talk about some outbound campaigns that we used AI to run or we scraped data and it didn't work quite as well as I thought it would. And so I wanted to share some of our failures with you so that you wouldn't make the same mistakes. And maybe I have some tips on if we were to use it again, we would try all over again. But so anyway, if you don't know who I am, my name is Eric Nowoslavsky. I'm the founder of Growth Engine X. Last month, we sent 3 million cold emails on behalf of our customers. And in 2024, we generated over 10,000 positive responses for our customers. So we send a lot of email. I think we're pretty okay at it. And I am just trying to document the things I wish other people would post about when I was learning about outbound as well, too. So if you are using AI to try to increase your response rates on your cold emails, there are some things that you might want to take a shot at using, like mentioning a company's case studies and then maybe mentioning some people on the team and things like that. But there's some things that you could stay away from that we have tried and they did not pan out. Either they were a complete failure or they just didn't work as well as I thought they would have. And so the first one, and this is probably the biggest fail that I thought was going to crush, and in some ways it did crush, but it was a bigger fail than it was a crush. So I wanted to send a follow-up email where we basically said, hey, following up about this, I know you didn't go to your college or your university, whatever your university is. We would use the LinkedIn data to say, hey, I know you didn't go to Stanford to worry about. And then we would just insert a small problem that was burning for them, but it's something that it feels like it should be taken care of. One of those things of like, I've got this thing of like, it's 2025. How does HubSpot and Salesforce still have duplicate problems? That's just, video for another time, right? And so we were trying it with a customer, and we would say, hey, we would follow up and we say, hey, I know you didn't go to Stanford to worry about these problems, and I know you didn't go to Harvard to worry about these problems. And so in those cases, this custom variable crushed. People really responded well to it, and they said, yeah. And it was kind of like this feeling of like, yeah, you're right. I didn't go to Harvard to worry about these stupid customer support calls or whatever it is, right? But it kind of lifted our positive response rates a little bit. We got people agreeing with us. They liked it. They laughed. It was fine. But on the flip side, the people who didn't go to a top tier school started complaining to us. And so we were emailing people and we were saying things like, hey, I know you didn't go to Brooklyn Community College to worry about this. And I know you didn't go to Bergen Community College to worry about this. Or I know you didn't go to Rutgers to worry about this. Or I know you didn't go to, Pasadena State to worry about this. All these other things. Those people hated us. They were so offended, which I mean, maybe comment on this if you'd be offended. I went to Rutgers. That's a huge state school. It's a good school in New Jersey, but basically everybody gets in. So, you know, take it for what it is. If somebody said to me, hey, I know you didn't go to Rutgers so that you could worry about deduplicating HubSpot records, I'd be like, yes, that's true. All right, sign me up. I didn't get a 4-year degree for this. That's absolutely true. But that's not how the market took it. People really, really hated it. So the little bit of lift of we got on the positive responses from the people who liked our messaging was not worth the amount of negative responses we got on the other side. We had to shut the campaign down after 2 days. It was looking back, it was kind of funny that I thought it was going to work so well and nobody cared. The second thing that I don't think worked really well, maybe we didn't execute on it, I had high hopes for it, was adding a PS line with a company analogy in it. And I used to think that this was a great idea. And now we just don't do it anymore because I just feel like it doesn't matter. And so I never got the feedback on these emails the same way I got on the college ones, where people would literally say, hey, this is offensive. Don't send these to me. Um, on the company analogies, we've just never had anybody say anything about the company analogies. Like they never said, oh, you know what, that made it a lot clearer, or thanks for sending that. I appreciate the email. If I AI scrape a website for a case study on somebody's website and then put that into the copywriting, people will give me kudos and they will say, hey, this was a great email. How'd you do it? Or, hey, this was a great email. Thanks for looking up our case studies. Nobody looks us up. People will, even if we reach out to local business owners and we say, hey, have you ever tried local restaurant? Sometimes people will disregard the entire message and only respond to the restaurant part, which blows my mind. But anyway, so whenever you try something with AI, you can kind of tell that it's working because positive responses lift up, but then also people will comment on the AI. Nobody has ever commented on the AI, and I've never seen a reasonable bump in positive replies from the company analogy. So that's just another one that we just don't use anymore. Another big fail that we used to have was we would scrape SimilarWeb for people's web traffic, and then we would say, hey, it looks like you have 540,000 site visitors a month, and this, that, and the other thing. That data is completely inaccurate, and there's a couple things going on here. One, nobody says that as a human. You never write that in an email, and so it was already coming across a little odd, and it looked really, really bad because the similar web traffic is directionally correct, but it's not absolutely correct. And so this one we actually still use, but just the lesson I want you all to take from it is to just show your work or to cite your sources whenever you do something like this. So say I looked you up on SimilarWeb and SimilarWeb told me you get this much site traffic. That is a much better message than just saying, hey, I saw you have about this much site traffic. So this is kind of like a half and half. Didn't work in the past, but now it's working for us now. If you say, hey, SimilarWeb told me this, and then especially if you could do some cool math with that and saying, if that is true, we can help you convert 1% of this traffic. And, I think it can help you make an extra $18,000 to $25,000 a month. That's cool. And I would suggest doing that, but just emailing people and saying, hey, I saw in some, or hey, it looks like your site traffic is 460,000 site visitors per month. That doesn't really work that well. Another one that we don't do anymore because it's just weird and we never saw a positive response bump from it. And then we twisted it and we got a bigger positive response bump is to mention somebody's employee headcount growth. We would send emails, and looking back on this, I feel like such an idiot, but we would send emails and we would say, hey, it looks like in the past 6 months, your team has grown by 21.16%. That's wild. That's just like, who on earth would actually, as a human, send that email? That's just not a thing somebody would send. And so instead, we would say, hey, it looks like the team is growing. I saw you recently added relevant title and irrelevant title to the team, whether they're individual contributors or they're senior people. We'll say, hey, I saw you're growing your sales team. I saw on LinkedIn that Brian joined and Megan joined, whatever. So instead of inserting that percentage, we'll use the percentage as a filter, but then we'll name the people who actually joined in the past 6 months. So it looks a lot better. So that's another one that we were kind of doing it wrong in the past, and then we shifted it and it started working better as well too. And then another one I wanted to keep out here is, now we don't even work with SEO agencies anymore, but one thing that I thought would crush for SEO agencies that we didn't make work, and maybe we stink, and this is all us. The best thing, by the way, I've ever seen work for SEO agencies is to do like really niche case study things for them. That's just me. I don't know. There's this guy, Aaron, who's crushing it with SEO agencies, Serpire or something. He's absolutely crushing it, and he's got a pay per lead model in SEO agencies. I don't work with them. I can't figure it out. I'm not smart enough for that, but go to him for it. And so what we would do is we would automate Google searches for terms that they should really be ranking for. And so either we would AI generate the terms, or if we were targeting lawyers, we would just literally AI, like we would literally just automate a Google search for lawyers in city. And then we would do a bunch of things in Clay to figure out where they rank in that search. And if they were outside the top 10, we would say something. If they're in the top 3, we'd say something different, and all this other stuff. That didn't work for an SEO offer. But when I did do it targeting real estate agents and talking to them about their social presence, they loved it. Right. And so I'm saying this one in particular, if you're trying to do an SEO offer, I don't know why. That's one of those things that it seems like it would have worked and just didn't really work. And so these are just a couple of things I just wanted to chat about, of things that we thought were going to work really well and they didn't end up panning out the way that we thought. And so the SEO thing I don't think fits this trend, but I think the big lesson across all of these is that you have to just think about, really, what would a human say if you were to actually manually send this email to them? What would you actually say? And, keep it extremely, normalized and then impactful, and then don't put yourself on a limb with data that might actually be wrong and things like that. And so I know this is a little bit of a shorter one, but it's been something on my mind that I wanted to share with you all, and I wanted to document it on the YouTube. So I hope you like that one.